May 25, 1944. Outside the Alban Hills, General Lucian Truscott stood over a map table at 6th Corps headquarters. After 4 months of hell at Anzio, his forces had finally broken free. Ahead of them, the German 10th Army was retreating north in chaos. Truscott's troops were perfectly positioned to cut Highway 6 at Valmontone. If that road was blocked, the entire German army would be trapped between 6th Corps and the British 8th Army advancing from the south. It was the kind of opportunity that appeared once in a generation, perhaps once in a war. Then the message arrived from 5th Army headquarters. General Mark Clark was changing the plan. 6th Corps would turn northwest toward Rome instead of pushing east to cut Highway 6. Truscott read the order twice, convinced there had to be a mistake. There wasn't. Clark wanted Rome before the British reached it. He wanted the headlines, the photographs, and the glory of liberating the First Axis capital. Truscott slammed his fist onto the map table. His staff had never seen him that angry. Everyone in the room understood what was happening. They were letting the German army escape so their commander could take a photograph. The story began 4 months earlier. On January 22, 1944, Operation Shingle landed 40,000 Allied troops at Anzio, 30 miles south of Rome and deep behind German lines. The landing achieved complete surprise. German defenses were thin and disorganized. The concept was brilliant: force the Germans to abandon the Gustav Line or risk encirclement. Field Marshal Albert Kesselring would have to choose between defending Rome or saving his armies. The operation was commanded by Major General John Lucas, a cautious officer who doubted the plan from the beginning. Despite the road to Rome being wide open, Lucas didn't advance. Instead, he consolidated the beachhead, following doctrine and protecting his forces. Every hour he waited, German reinforcements poured in. What should have been a lightning strike became a slow-motion disaster. Kesselring was initially near panic when he learned of Anzio. He immediately stripped units from across Italy, even pulling forces from Yugoslavia and southern France. Within days, the Germans had sealed the beachhead. The opportunity to end the Italian campaign in January vanished, not because the plan was flawed, but because it wasn't executed. By February, Anzio had turned into a killing ground. German counterattacks nearly pushed Allied forces back into the sea. Artillery fire was constant. There was no rear area. Cooks, clerks, medics, everyone was under fire. Soldiers lived in flooded foxholes, listening for the whistle of the Anzio Express, a German railway gun firing 600-pound shells. Psychological collapse wasn't weakness at Anzio. It was inevitable. Between January and May 1944, 6th Corps suffered over 43,000 casualties. Entire divisions lost half their strength. Medical tents were shelled. Wounded men were hit again while waiting for treatment. 5,000 American families received telegrams announcing deaths in a beachhead that was supposed to break the stalemate in days. Instead, it created another meat grinder. John Lucas was relieved on February 22 and replaced by Lucian Truscott, one of the most aggressive American generals in the war. But by then, the damage was done. The Germans were entrenched. Anzio had become a stalemate, paid for in blood. On May 11, Operation Diadem finally began. Over 1,600 Allied guns opened fire along the Gustav Line. The British 8th Army attacked from the east, American forces from the center. Once the Germans were fully engaged, 6th Corps would break out from Anzio and cut Highway 6. This time, the plan worked. By May 23, German defenses were collapsing. Kesselring ordered a retreat. The German 10th Army began withdrawing up Highway 6, the only escape route north. 6th Corps moved fast. Intelligence reports showed German units bunching together. The trap was closing. Over 100,000 German troops were about to be surrounded. General Harold Alexander's orders were explicit. The priority was not Rome. It was the destruction of the German army. 6th Corps was the anvil. The British 8th Army was the hammer. If Highway 6 was cut, the Italian campaign would effectively end. Mark Clark attended the planning meetings and appeared to agree. But behind the scenes, his staff prepared plans for a drive on Rome. Clark feared the British might reach the city first. That, to him, was unacceptable. Rome was his prize. On May 25, Clark arrived at Truscott's headquarters with new orders. The majority of 6th Corps would turn toward Rome. Only 2 formations would continue toward Highway 6. Truscott protested. He showed intelligence proving the German army was trapped. Clark didn't budge. Move toward Rome. After Clark left, Truscott stood silently over the map. He knew the war had just been prolonged. He obeyed the order but sent his most aggressive units toward Highway 6 anyway, hoping to salvage something. The 3rd Infantry Division reached Highway 6 and saw German vehicles backed up for miles. Artillery rained down on them. It wasn't enough. 2 divisions couldn't block an entire army. The Germans fought through and escaped. The German commanders later called it a miracle. Kesselring had expected to lose the 10th Army. When the American attack never came, he ordered an immediate withdrawal. The Germans escaped intact, with their artillery, vehicles, and command structure. On June 4, Mark Clark entered Rome with photographers ready. He ensured British troops were kept out of the city. He held press conferences. The headlines celebrated him as a liberator. 2 days later, D-Day erased Rome from the news. The Germans who escaped built the Gothic Line and fought on for another year. The Italian campaign continued until May 1945. Historians estimate those escaped forces caused over 60,000 additional Allied casualties. Truscott later wrote that Clark sacrificed victory for personal glory. Alexander agreed privately. German commanders confirmed they had been on the verge of surrender. Clark never admitted error. The prize wasn't Rome. It was the enemy army. And because one man chose a photograph over destruction, thousands more soldiers died. The men who survived Anzio had to fight the same Germans again, hill by bloody hill, for another 300 days. History hasn't forgiven that decision. Don't forget. Subscribe to WW2 Untold Rising for more untold stories of World War II. Drop a comment below with your thoughts on this pivotal moment in history and pin your favorite fact. Disclaimer. This video is for educational and historical purposes. All events depicted are based on documented historical accounts. Some details have been dramatized for storytelling effect.